Welcome in Shri Sai Baba Temple here in Frankfurt. Today we go in Brahm Gyan. So Brahm Gyan is the end of the past. This means the water is crystal clear. Everything is already surrendered. This is the last moment of the individuality. So when the water merges in the as so crystal clear, nothing is swims, no identity. No identity at all. Then you merge in the sea as the one, and you realize, not you realize, it will be realized that there is never an individual. The form will go, but you live as individual, you live as form. In the moment when the river merges in the sea, then no wave has a special role. The wave which seems to be very high, very important, very rich, very individual, they come down again, and what they realize in the end is they were always the sea. There was never an individual wave. It comes up, it appears, but it is the sea, not the wave. And goes down again and merges in the sea, and it seems that there was never a wave. It is the silence of the sea, Brahm, which is ruling the world, the begin and the end. So if someone comes to Baba, he has to see, is this one qualified or not? What does it mean? It means, are they so pure, so empty? These people come in a different way in the temple. They don't ask many things. They see Baba, tears fall down, and they see only the grace. They see there was only grace, because the sea is only grace. There is nothing else. All games, up and down, beautiful and ugly, truth, not truth, it's gone. It merges in the purity of the sea, in Shuddha, in the purity. And the sea is holding the presence, the complete presence. It's only in the presence. All life, Brahm, appears in presence, not in past, not in future, it is in presence. This is in this temple a lot of miracles happen, but I don't go into miracles. Why? Because then you think you are better because of the miracle. No, the sea, there is no wave which is better or less. This is all appearance. The sea is the sea, and there is no better wave than the other. Forget it. This is the I thought. It's the ego. In the moment where you are completely merged in presence, completely merged in the sea, everything what arises is perfect. You see the wholeness of the purity, the completeness of the sea. No beginning, no end. You let everything you surrender, all powers of your individuality, you surrender. Then you are rip. And then you even will not ask anything. Because any words put it in a wrong term. And it's wrong because it is limited. So it is the purity, the endless purity, the endless space, the endless time, the endless now. You surrender. You give every power to that. There is no one who plays a special role. This is why Ramana said you have to go through the death experience. You have to give the individuality. All the people who come in the temple and want to play a special role, they are not Rip. So now we read first in English, and I will interrupt sometimes and then explain. Okay, we start.
Om Sai Ram. Chapter 16 and 17. Quick Brahm Gyan. These two chapters relate the story of a rich gentleman who wanted Brahm Gyan quickly from Sai Baba.
So stop. There is no quick Brahm Gyan. This is a fake. Brahm Gyan is the end. And there is the time is gone. So there is quick needs a comparison. But in Brahm, there is no comparison at all. This is the endless now. The endless now is not quick. I want to. So next.
Preliminary. The last chapter described how Mr. Cholker's vow of small offering was completed and accepted. In that story, Sai Baba showed that he would accept with appreciation any small thing, offered with love and devotion. But if the same thing was offered with pride and haughtiness, he would reject it.
This means there is nothing in Brahm which is worthless. The wave can be very small. It's the sea. Doesn't matter. It can be very great, very special. It is only the sea. So he knows there is nothing better or less.
Being himself full of Sat Chit Anand, that is, pure consciousness, knowledge, and bliss, he did not care much for mere outward formalities. But if an offering was made in a humble spirit, the same was welcome, and he accepted it with pleasure and avidity. In fact, there's no person more generous and benevolent than a Sadguru like Sai Baba. He cannot be compared to the Chintamani jewel, the Kalpataru, the celestial tree which fulfills our desires, or the Kamadhenu, the celestial cow which yields what we desire. They give us only what we desire, but the Sadguru gives us the most precious thing, that is inconceivable and inscrutable, the reality.
Stop. This means you cannot be empty with your mind. You cannot think emptiness. So as long there is thoughts, You are not empty. You are not Brahm. That's not silence.
Now, let us hear how Sai Baba disposed of a rich man who came to him and implored him to give him Brahm Gyan. There was a rich gentleman, unfortunately his name and whereabouts are not mentioned, who was very prosperous in his life. He had amassed a large quantity of wealth, houses, and lands, and had many servants and dependents. When Baba's fame reached his ears, he said to a friend of his that he was not in want of anything, and so he would go to Shirdi and ask Baba to give him Brahma Gyan, which, if he got, would certainly make him more happy. His friend disordered him, saying, "It's not easy to know Brahma, and especially so for an avaricious man like you, who's always engrossed in wealth, wife, and children. Who will in your quest of Brahmagyan satisfy you, who does not give away even a paisa in charity?"
So what is Baba saw this man he had already this wish, this is grace, to be Brahm, to have this in at the wish is already huge grace. So he came, and then he came as this important man, important wave. So sea welcomes him as this important wave. But as long they play this important wave, they are not ready because the water is not clean. So they cannot be pure. It's not possible. So Baba was very tricky. He massaged his ego. Huh? Yeah, massaged his ego, and he was going in the trap. If he would be ready, he would not go in that trap. First step. So now read.
Not minding his friend's advice, the fellow engaged a return journey Tonga and came to Shirdi. He went to the masjid, saw Sai Baba, fell at his feet and said, "Baba, hearing that you show Brahma to all who come to you, I too have come here all the way from my distant place."
So first, you cannot show Brahm. You can only be Brahm. So you can also not give Brahm. You can only help the individual, going through the death experience, and go, have courage, go, and then what is the last step, what is the purity, the empty water, this will be Brahm. So it is, and then you are one with the Guru. So one with the Guru is not the giving, not the receiving. There is no receiving, no giving. You get what I mean? So it's one. So it is written in Sai Satcharitra, it's giving, but the Sadguru disappears in this moment and will go in the water as nothingness, as the empty space in presence, and will say, "You are the same, not far from me. You are this Brahm," but not as an object, as subject. Brahm is not object, it is always subject.
"I am much fatigued by the journey, and if I get Brahmagyan from you, my troubles will be well paid and rewarded." Baba then replied, "Oh, my dear friend, do not be anxious. I shall show you Brahma. Many people come to me and ask for wealth, health, power, honor, position, cure of diseases, and other temporal matters. Rare is the person who comes to me and asks for Brahmagyan. There is no dearth of people asking for worldly things. but people interested in spiritual matters are very rare. I think it is a fortunate and auspicious moment when persons like you come and ask me for Brahm Gyan. So forthwith, I show to you with pleasure Brahma with all its accompaniments and complexities. Saying this, Baba started to show him Brahma. He made him sit there and engaged him in some other talk, and thus made him forget his question for the time being.
He showed him actually that he is not Rip. But this is not bad. He showed him you are with your consciousness the wave. You are comparing. You have the jealousy. You want to be more. You go in all these comparing games. This he showed him. No.
Saying this, Baba started to show him Brahma. He made him sit there and engaged him in some other talk, and thus made him forget his question for the time being.
He made his mind busy so that he forgets his question.
Then he called a boy and told him to go to one Nandu Marwadi and get from him a loan of rupees 5.
So the boy is also the sea. He is not different from the big man, which asks. So there's a hierarchy here. This little amount, 5 rupees, he thinks it is not his business. The 5 rupee business is running with the other one.
The boy left and returned immediately, saying that Nandu was absent and his house was locked. Then Baba asked him to go to Bala Grocer and get from him the said loan. This time also the boy was unsuccessful. This experiment was repeated again twice or thrice with the same result. Sai Baba was, as we know, the living and moving Brahma incarnate. Then someone may ask,
This means, it's very important, Brahm incarnate. This means he is Brahm, because the Guru Satchidananda is the living Brahm in form. This is the only way to be Brahm. There is no other way. You have to be it. You cannot reach it. It's not reaching. Then it's an object. You have to be it. Then it's subject.
then someone may ask, why did he want the paltry sum of 5 rupees and why did he try hard to get it? In reality, he did not want the sum at all. He must have known fully that Nandu and Bala were absent, and he seemed to have adopted this procedure as a test for the seeker of Brahma. That gentleman had a roll or bundle of currency notes in his pocket, and if he was really earnest, he would not have sat quiet and be a mere onlooker when Baba was frenetically trying to get the paltry sum of rupees 5. He knew that Baba would keep his word and repay the debt, and that the sum wanted was insignificant. Still, he could not make up his mind and advance the sum. Such a man wanted from Baba the greatest thing in the world, that is, the Brahm Gyan. Any other man who really loved Baba would have given to him rupees 5 at once. Instead of being a mere onlooker, it was otherwise with this man. He advanced no money, nor did he sit silent, but began to be impatient, as he was in a haste to return, and implored Baba, saying, "Oh Baba, please give me Brahma Gyan soon." Baba replied, "Oh, my dear friend, did you not understand all the procedure that I went through, sitting in this place, for enabling you to see Brahma? It is in short this. For
So this is very important now. This is the key. Nobody wants to see the key. This is the Passepartout key. You have to understand. Are you ready to give this away?
For seeing Brahma, one has to give 5 things. That is, surrender 5 things. that is 5 pranas.
This is the 5 pranas, means the body.
5 senses. Mind.
These 5 senses means there is no in and outside. With the senses, you are on the border to the body. You see with your eyes outside. The process is inside. You eat, you take the food from outside, swallow it, and then the food is inside. So these are all the borders of the body. These are the senses.
Mind.
Mind is thoughts. What appears from outside and triggers your mind, outside, inside. So you have your secret chamber, the secret room inside, and think, this is me. This is me. Nobody is in this little room. And you experience yourself as me in this room. And you say, this is my private room, my private thoughts, my private feelings. So you have a privacy. This means individuality. This is meant by this. This you have to also to give.
Intellect.
This means the smartness. So the smartness, I'm so tricky, I'm so smart, I know what has to be, how it has to be. This you have also to give.
And ego. This path of Brahm Gyan or self-realization is as hard as treading on the edge of a razor.
Very important. You cannot do it. As much weight as individual you have, the razor will cut you. It's too much weight. If you are the air, nothing is in the air. It's very movable. Then there is no weight. You can walk on the razor.
Sai Baba then gave a rather long discourse on the subject, the purport of which is given below. Qualifications for Brahm Gyan or self-realization. All persons do not see or realize the Brahma in their lifetime.
This is important. So Brahm Gyan is the last step, and for very less people, because the most people are in wealth. They have to save their life, their body, their how they appear. And Brahma Gyan, the Brahma Gyan, das ist, if you are so empty that you only want this. This will come now.
Certain qualifications are absolutely necessary. First, mumukshu, or intense desire to get free. He who thinks that he is bound and that he should get free from bondage and works earnestly and resolutely to that end and does not care for any other thing is qualified for the spiritual life.
This means there is nothing, everything is already offered. So you are so naked with everything that you inside there is this longing in this huge grace. Please Baba, reveal it. I cannot bear this longing in me anymore. Then all slavery will go. With everyone, I remove the slavery. I take so much effort on this to make clear because all slavery bring you in a duality. So in the moment where there is nothing, you have nothing to lose, nothing to win, but you knock on the door of Brahm. The Guru will give you this. I say give you this, but it's not a giving. He will actually push you, because it is there is a hindrance, that is death experience. Huge fear will arise. That's all this automatic resistance when you go through fear experience will come up. Every aversion, every rescue, all this will come up and will try to rule you. But this mumukshu is the Baba, I'm here for, please help me.
Second, virakti, or a feeling of non-attachment with the things of this world and the next. Unless a man feels disgusted with the things, emoluments and honors which his actions would bring in this world and the next, he has no right to enter into the spiritual realm.
If you are so naked that you are so ready, because you have the feeling, I cannot lose anything, and I can also not win anything. There is not, what I am is already that which cannot be changed. Then it opens by itself. Because you know, it's not with words. It happens inside, from inside. It opens. Because all questions will go. This is the answers, my friend, are blowing in the wind. There is no one who gives questions, or there is no one who receives answers. Everything is blowing in the wind. It's already there as that which with no beginning and no end.
Third, antarmukha, introversion. Our senses have been created by God with a tendency to move outward, and so man always looks outward and not inward. He who wants self-realization and immortal life must turn his gaze inwards and look to his inner self.
This inward looking, this means the fish is asking, where is the water? When he goes, in the moment where the fish goes inside, he will see there is no inside and outside, there's only the sea. All individuality of fish is gone, and only sea is there. Question of water will not arise. Question is where the water will not, this question will not arise. It is only a surrendering to the sea.
Fourth,
So there is no inside, no outside. No, there is only presence. No past, no future.
Fourth, catharsis, eliminating all base ideas and emotions. Unless a man has turned away from wickedness and stopped from doing wrong and has entirely composed himself, and unless his mind is at rest, he cannot gain self-realization even by means of knowledge.
This means you are not harming others. You give yourself completely to the Master, to the Guru, to Baba, and you serve Baba in the best way you can do. Not you can do, not as a doership, as it can be done. And you have no merits, and you have no karma, because there is no doership. There's only the sea. There is no fish anymore which can do anything in the sea. And everything is in him, the Guru. Or you can say also the God. The one is doing it all. Allah Malik Ek. Allah is doing it. This is the same. There is no separate entity anymore. It's one.
Fifth, right conduct. Unless a man leads a life of truth, penance, and insight, a life of celibacy, he cannot get God realization.
You try to do in every moment to give your best. Not as a doer, but you try to, what is possible in this moment, do you give. And you offer completely. And you are committed to truth. And if this body is doing something wrong, you have no great problems to say, sorry, it was wrong. I have to think in a completely different way.
Sixth,
Life in it. If you offer everything, your mind gets empty and silent. A silent mind has no doership. So you are, yes, the celibacy.
Celibacy.
Yeah,
Celibate.
the celibacy means Hanuman, who has no doership. It is not sexual. Das ist nicht damit gemeint. It's not meant. This is not meant. It is the silent mind which has already offered everything. Okay. And the silent mind is Brahm. He is one. Or he's knocking on the door. It's ready. The silent mind is ready for Brahm. It's before, yeah.
Sixth, preferring Shreyas, the good, to Preyas, the pleasant. There are two sort of things, that is, the good and the pleasant. The former deals with spiritual affairs, and the later with the mundane matters. Both these are open to man for acceptance. He has to think and choose one of them. This wise man prefers the good to the pleasant, but the unwise, through greed and attachment, chooses the pleasant. 7th, control of the mind and the senses. The body is the chariot, and the self is the master. Intellect is the charioteer, and the mind is the reins. The senses are the horses, and sense objects are their paths. He who has no understanding and whose mind is unrestrained has his senses unmanageable. Like the stray horse of a charioteer does not reach his destination, that is, get self-realization, but goes through the round of births and deaths. But he who has understanding and whose mind is restrained has his senses under control. Like the good, obedient horse of a charioteer reaches the destination, that is the state of self-realization. whence he is not born again. The man who has understanding as his charioteer and is able to rein his mind reaches the end of the journey, which is the supreme abode of the all-pervading Vishnu, Lord.
This is Shuddha Chaitanya, Atma, I am Parabrahm.
8th, purification of the mind. Unless a man discharges satisfactorily and disinterestedly the duties of his station in life, his mind will not be purified, and unless his mind is purified, he cannot get self-realization.
Purified means silent. Purified, there is nothing in the water anymore. He has nothing to carry.
It is only in the purified mind that Viveka, disattachment of the unreal, crop up and lead on to self-realization.
This means Viveka is coming out of Brahm. It's not the smartness which gives you Viveka. It is the silence which gives you Viveka.
Unless egoism is dropped, avarice got rid of, and the mind made desireless, self-realization is not possible. The idea that I am the body is a great delusion, and attachment to this idea is the cause of bondage. Leave off this idea and attachment, therefore, if you want to reach the goal of self-realization. Ninth, the necessity of a guru. The knowledge of the self is so subtle and mystic that no one can by his own individual effort ever hope to attain it. So the help of another person, teacher, who has himself got self-realization is absolutely necessary. What others cannot give with great effort and pains can be easily gained with the help of such a teacher. For he has walked on the path himself and can easily take the disciple step by step on the ladder of spiritual progress.
Yeah, this means the mind is very tricky. And Brahm, there is no wanting anymore. So the mind cannot go in Brahm because it's busy. So it also needs someone who is so empty and has already passed all these traps with his guru, and his guru has done it with him. It's a painful story. It's not. It is because you have to let go, and in the end you are free. But this free, and the Ananda will come. But before it is very painful because all these identities has to go. And the guru, the true guru, will face you in different situation with all your identities. He has to do this. It's his job.
And lastly, grace of the Lord is the most essential thing. When the Lord is pleased with anybody, he gives him viveka and vairagya and takes him safe beyond the ocean of mundane existence. The self cannot be gained by the study of Vedas, nor by intellect, nor by learning. He whom the self chooses gains it. To him the self reveals its nature, says the Katha Upanishad. After the dissertation was over, Baba turned to the gentleman and said, "Well, sir, there is in your pocket the Brahma in form of 50 times of 5 rupees. Please take that out. The gentleman took out from his pocket the bundle of currency notes, and to his great surprise found on counting them that there were 25 notes of 10 rupees each. Seeing this omniscience of Baba, he was moved and fell at Baba's feet and craved for his blessings. Then Baba said to him, "Roll up your bundle of Brahma," the currency notes. "Unless you completely get rid of your avarice or greed, you will not get the real Brahma."
As long you hold on the identity that you are rich, or you have the bundle, or you have money, or you have this property, or you have this wife, or you have this kid, or you have this profession, or you have whatever it is, this smartness, there is an identity. This is not pure. You have to live this. This is karma. You have to live this identity until the end. It doesn't mean that you should not have a woman or wife. That's not the mind. I don't mean this. It means that you have a wife, but not with the identity. You don't put something in it, because you cannot possess anyone. That what you are cannot possess anyone. And even the bundle of money, he is not possessing it. He thinks he possesses it, but this is the trap. This is the dust. This is what is in the water is not clean. He has to act with his 250 rupees, but it's not him. So in this moment, it would be, if he would have Viveka, he would give this 5 rupees without any problems.
How can he whose mind is engrossed in wealth, progeny, and prosperity expect to know the Brahma without removing his attachment for them? The illusion of attachment or the love for money is a deep whirlpool of pain, full of crocodiles in the form of conceit and jealousy.
Yes. And we have a lot of crocodiles on the earth. They are managing their money, and they will never come close to Brahm. That's not possible. So relax.
He who is desireless can alone cross this whirlpool. Greed and Brahma are asunder as poles. They are eternally opposed to each other. Where there is greed, there is no room for thought or meditation of the Brahma. Then how can a greedy man get dispassion and salvation? For a greedy man, there is no peace, neither contentment nor steadiness. If there be even a little trace of greed in mind, all the sadhanas, that is the spiritual endeavors, are of no avail.
Greed needs an eye, because there is a center which wants something from outside. There is separation, duality. Outside is someone what you want to gain, to receive. This is greed. This movement this to your body is the movement of the ego. The sand had the movement of this opposite. He wants to give as much as possible. This is the opposite direction. He wants to give. He is happy when he can give something. Completely opposite.
Even the knowledge of a well-read man who is not free from the desire of the fruit or reward of his actions is futile and can't help him in getting self-realization. The teachings of a guru are of no use to a man who is full of egoism and who always thinks about the sense objects. Purification of mind is absolutely necessary. Without it, all our spiritual endeavors are nothing but useless show and pomp. It is therefore better for one to take only what he can digest and assimilate. My treasure is full, and I can give anyone what he wants, but I have to see whether he is qualified to receive my gift. If you listen to me carefully, you will be certainly benefited. While sitting in this masjid, I never speak any untruth. When a guest is invited to a house, all the members of the household and other friends and relations that happen to be present are entertained along with the guest. So all those that were present in the masjid at that time could partake of the spiritual feast that was served by Baba for the rich gentleman. After getting Baba's blessing, one and all, including the gentleman, left the place quite happy and contented. Special characteristics of Baba. There are many saints who leaving their house stay in forest, caves or hermitages and in solitude in order to get liberation or salvation for themselves. They do not care for other people and are always self-absorbed. Sai Baba was not of such a type. He had no home, no wife, no progeny, nor any relations, near or distant. Still, he lived in the world, society. He begged his bread from 4 or 5 houses, always lived at the foot of the neem tree, carried on worldly dealings, and taught all the people how to act and behave living in this world. Rare are the sadhus and saints who, after attaining God vision, strive for the welfare of the people. Sai Baba was the foremost of these, and therefore says Hemat Pant, blessed is the country, blessed is the family, and blessed are the chaste parents where this extraordinary, transcendent, precious, and pure jewel was born. Bow to Shri Sai, peace be to all.
Thank you. Now we sing 3 times Hanuman Chalisa and then we sing Shisha Arati. The Hanuman Chalisa is also the joy to the Guru. The joy, the thankfulness, the gratitude. And like Hanuman, he's so thankful to be in Ram's presence that this is the hymn for this.
Okay. Nijamanu mukura sudari Maranau raghuvara vimala jasu Jodayak balachari Buddhihina tanu janike Sumiro pavana kumar Bala buddhi vidya devu mohi Arau kalesha vikara Jaya Hanuman Gyana Gunasagar Jaya Kapisha Tiroloka Bhusagar Ramaduta Tulita Balarama Anjani Putra Pavana Sutana Mahavira Vikrama Vajarangi Sumati Nivara Sumati Ke Sangi Kanchana Varana Viraja Suvesa Kanana Kundala Kundita Kesa Hata Vajrora Dhaja Viraja Kande Muda Jane Osai पंथ के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दास। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पाए, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसराए। अंधकाल रघुबर पुर जाई, जाजन बारी भजक और देवता चित्तन धरई। हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा। जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलवीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई। छूटहि बंदी महासुख, जोया पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा। होया सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा, तुलसीदास सदा हरिचेरा। कीजे नाथ हृदय पवन तनय संकट मंगल मूर्ति रूपा। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसव सुरभूषा। मंगल मूर्ति मारुत नंदन, सकल मंगल मूढ़ निकंदन। मंगल मूर्ति मारुत नंदन, सकल मंगल मूढ़ निकंदन। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय सीताराम 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 सीताराम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। भरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु, जो दायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीश तिहु लोक।
Today we want to gratulate Charmi and Nilesh for the baby boy which is just 3 hours ago born. They met first time here in the temple and now they have a baby. Thank you, Baba. So we sing for them last Hanuman Chalisa and then Shesha Avati. May this boy be blessed and may he be always in the presence of Baba. Om Sai Ram.
Shri Guru Sarana Sarojaraja Nija Mano Mukura Sudari Varano Raghubara Vimala Jasu Jodhayaku Palachari Buddhina Tanujanike Sumiro Bhavana Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Arau Kalesha Vikar Jaya Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagar Jaya Kapisha Triloka Ramaduta Turita Baladama Anjani Putra Pavana Sutana Mahavira Vikrama Bhajarangi Kumati Nivara Sumati Ke Sangi श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. ओवाळू आरती माझ्या सद्गुरुनाथा, माझ्या साईनाथा. पांचाली तत्वांच्या देवना विनाथा, निर्गुणाची स्थिती कैसी आकार आली, बाबा आकार आली. सर्व घरी वरून उरली साई माऊली. ओवाळू आरती माझ्या सद्गुरुनाथा, माझ्या साईनाथा. पांचाही तत्वांच्या देवना विलासा, रजतम सत्वाती जय माया प्रसवली, बाबा माया प्रसवली. मायेची ये पोती कैसी माया उद्भवली. ओवाळू आरती माझ्या सद्गुरुनाथा, माझ्या साईनाथा. पांचाही तत्वांच्या देवना विलासा, सप्तसागरी कैसा खेळ मांडिला, बाबा खेळ मांडिला. खेळूनिया खेळावरा विस्तार केला. ओवाळू आरती माझ्या सद्गुरुनाथा, माझ्या साईनाथा. पांचाही तत्वांच्या देवना विलासा, ब्रह्माजीची रचना कैसी दाखवली डोळा, बाबा दाखवली डोळा. तुका महे माझ्या स्वामी कृपाळू बोला. ओवाळू आरती माझ्या सद्गुरुनाथा, माझ्या साईनाथा. पांचाही तत्वांच्या देवना विलासा, लोकल जन जागी. इतलेला ते कोणी अवतार पांडुरंगा. नाम देविले ज्ञानी आरती ज्ञान राजा. महाकैवल्य तेजा सेविते साधू संता. मनुवेदना माझा आरती ज्ञान राजा. कर्णाचे ताटकारी उभ्या गोपिका नारी. नारद तुंबर हो समगायन कारी. आरती ज्ञान राजा. महाकैवल्य तेजा सेविते साधू संता. मनुवेदन माझा आरती ज्ञान राजा. प्रगट गुह्य बोले तुकारामा स्वामी सद्गुरु नामा सच्चिदानंद मूर्ती पायदा कविरामा आरती तुकारामा तू गीता तुलनेसी ब्रह्म तुकाची आरे मनोनी रामेश्वरे चरणी मस्तक ठेविले आरती तुकारामा स्वामी सद्गुरु धामा सच्चिदानंद मूर्ती पायदा कवियामा आरती तुकारामा जय जय साईनाथ आता पहुडावे मंदिर हो जय जय साईनाथ आता पहुडावे मंदिर हो आरवितो सब प्रेमे तुझला आरती घेऊन करी हो जय जय साईनाथ आता पहुडावे मंदिरी हो रंजवशी तू मधुर बोलुनी माय जशी निज मुला हो रंजवशी तू मधुर बोलुनी माय जशी निज मुला हो भोगिसी व्याधी तुच्छ हरुनिया निज सेवक दुःखाला हो भोगिसी व्याधी तुच्छ हरुनिया निज सेवक दुःखाला हो राहुनी भक्त व्यसन हरीशी दर्शन देशी त्याला हो राहुनी भक्त व्यसन हरीशी दर्शन देशी त्याला हो झाले असतील बाबा नवनीता भक्ती ज्ञानाच्या समया लावणी उजळल्या ज्योती आता स्वामी सुखे निद्रा करा अवधूता बाबा करा साईनाथा चिन्मय हे सुखधाम जामुनी भवडा एकांता बाबा काचा मंच कर दया काशी टांगिला हृदया काशी टांगिला मनाचे सुमने करुणी केले शेजेला आता स्वामी सुखे निद्रा करा अवधूता बाबा करा साईनाथा चिन्मय हे सुखधाम जामुनी भवडा एकांता द्वैताच्या कपाट लावून एकत्र केले बाबा एकत्र केले दुर्बुद्धीच्या गाठी सोडून पडले सोडिले आता स्वामी सुखे निद्रा करा अवधूता बाबा करा साईनाथा चिन्मय हे सुखधाम जाऊनी भवडा एकांता माझ्या कृष्णा कल्पनेचा सोडून गलबला बाबा सोडून गलबला दया क्षमा शांती दासी उभ्या सेवेला आता स्वामी सुखे निद्रा करा अवधूता बाबा करा साईनाथा चिन्मय हे सुखधाम जाऊनी भवडा एकांता आदर्श उन्मयी घेऊनी नाजुक दुष्याला बाबा नाजुक दुष्याला निरंजने सद्गुरु स्वामी निजविल शेजेला आता स्वामी सुखे निद्रा करा अवधूता बाबा करा साईनाथा चिन्मय हे सुखधाम जाऊनी भवडा एकांता सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय पाणी प्रसादाची शेषा घेऊन जाईन तुमचे झालिया भोजना साधू आता सेवा तुम्हाला देवा शेषा घेऊन जाईन तुमचे झालिया भोजना बडे कथा करुणी राहिलो निश्चित शेषा घेऊन जाईन तुमचे झालिया भोजना मावला प्रसादाचा विठोली जावे बाबा हातानी जावे आपला तो क्षमा करवे सेवावे आता स्वामी सुखे निद्रा करा गोपाला बाबा साई दयाला मुरले मनोरथ रघु आपुलताला तुम्हा माझ्या गौ आम्ही आपुल्याचारा बाबा आपुल्याचारा शुभ शुभ कर्मे दोषहार मीरा आता स्वामी सुखे निद्रा करा गोपाला बाबा साई दयाला मुरले मनोरथ रघु आपुलताला तुका म्हणे दिले उच्चिष्टाचे भोजना उच्चिष्टाचे भोजना नाही निवाडिले आम्हा आपुल्या भिन्ना आता स्वामी सुखे निद्रा करा गोपाला बाबा साई दयाला मुरले मनोरथ रघु आपुलताला सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम सद्गुरुनाथ साईनाथ महाराज की जय सद्गुरुनाथ साईनाथ महाराज की जय सद्गुरुनाथ साईनाथ महाराज की जय पूर्णमदं पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः